Hello everybody, Ben Rogers here, the Raptors Digest, reacting to the Toronto Raptors 127-125 win against the Brooklyn Nets. Ryker, oh my god, that game was a whirlwind, and honestly, it was probably the most excited I've been for a Raptors game all season.
We saw the emergence of not the baby Hook, not the Hook, but the grandfather Hook. Holy moly, what an explosion. I was thinking Marc Gasol he's probably never had this crowd support him this much in his entire career in Memphis, and now we have all of Canada behind his back. Crazy.
To be fair, the Grizzlies fans are pretty wild, and they had a good stretch of when they were in the playoffs. They're a quality fan base, but certainly the Toronto Raptors crowd rallied behind this team tonight. It was, oh my god, this whole game was something to behold. Kawhi Leonard played amazing. Lowry's back playing at a very high level. Marc Gasol came in. There's so much to talk about, Ryker, but I think the first guy we should...
Wait, whoa. Oh. We got to start the old comment of the day.
That's true.
Okay?
Very
and
true.
Before we even say the comment of the day, I also want to say shout out to all of the new listeners, because I imagine now with the introduction of Marc Gasol, Jeremy Lin coming in soon, we got a whole new fan base that's going to start tuning in to the Raptors Digest, going to get on this bandwagon. So, thanks for joining in. It's going to be an incredible end of the season and good playoffs. But like I said, quickly, we'll do the comment of the day. Credit where credit is due. The most liked comment that we've ever had in the history of us doing YouTube videos. With all the Asians in Toronto, Jeremy Lin will be a fan favorite. Just saying. I hope this is an Asian person that's saying that, and it's not taken in a negative light, but I just think it's a positive thing. I mean, there's certainly a lot of Asian people in Toronto and in Canada, and I think it's super cool that now we have like a really great Asian player and just a good player in general. So it's pretty cool that this fan base is just going to grow, that basketball in Canada in general is going to grow, because, man, the Toronto Raptors are riding a wave right now, and everybody who can join in and just become part of that should be so lucky. Like, this is going to be incredible. And then also...
Yeah, for sure. And Marc Gasol and Jeremy Lin are two guys that have such an international following. And Toronto's such a diverse city. It's it's a perfect place for this roster to come together.
Yeah, and then really two quick ones, just because these comments are actually perfect. But this one really quick. We kind of predicted a little bit Marc Gasol and Jeremy Lin coming in. We also made a couple of podcasts about Kawhi that was pointed out before he came as well. Not as adamantly, but we were saying this could be a thing that actually happens. And she says, keep speaking things into existence. That LeVar Ball mentality. We always say big baller moves, baby. Big baller moves. And in that light, Jacob something, he says... Please predict that we're going to get Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving.
We don't need him.
We don't need him with this team. And why we don't need him is what we're going to discuss right now, Ben. Take us away.
Certainly. The first player we got to talk about, there's so many storylines, and we have a lot to talk about with this game, but Kawhi Leonard, he's been struggling a bit as of late. Nick Nurse came out earlier this morning in shoot-around. He mentioned how Kawhi just needs to get a bit motivated. He's tired of bullying teams with his amazing ability, but tonight really broke out of his slump. 30 points for Kawhi Leonard and 8 assists, showing off the playmaking, his season high in assists. He obviously hit the game winner. Kawhi Leonard, no one should question his ability. You see a couple comments every now and then when he's struggling a little bit, but Kawhi Leonard's a top 5 NBA player, and he came out and showed it why he is that tonight.
He's just a smooth operator, right? His move on this Toronto Raptors team, two things, seems to be a bit of a shimmy shake down in the post, but a very high post, almost out at the 15-foot range, or a kind of just very smooth pull-up jumper, also from only a step or two in, probably 15 to 18-foot range. He just operates. When he gets a little bit of space, he's confident to pull up. And that game winner that he had, that's over Jared Allen, who's probably the best defensive player on Brooklyn, tallest guy by far, and he's maybe the block king of this season, blocking the likes of Blake Griffin and LeBron James in dunk mode. So, this is a tough final shot to make. Yeah,
certainly. Kawhi Leonard, he's just out here. We probably talked about Kawhi Leonard so much at the beginning of the year. We've kind of faded away because it's so repetitive, just singing Kawhi's praises on a night-to-night basis. But I think right now, people got to know. People got to know, Ryker, Kawhi Leonard's legit. We have a legitimate MVP candidate on our roster, and we got to be super appreciative of that, along with all the other guys. And, the guy that we got to talk about next, Marc Gasol.
But this is, before you start talking about him, this is what I think is really good about Marc Gasol, is that Kawhi Leonard has had the opportunity to win games already this season. But everybody's been like, oh, give the ball to Kawhi. Let Kawhi make his moves. Let him finish the game. But then really, this whole story tonight, even though he was didn't even score more than Serge Ibaka, this was Marc Gasol's game. Because he took over control of the game and gave them the lead that they were kind of able to sustain, right? That I think is the real reason that they won. This must be so relieving now to Kawhi Leonard, who has kind of expressed a little bit in the past that he doesn't always like to be the number one guy, or that, there's a lot of pressure on him. He's kind of dealing with kind of a strange team, a strange situation. This is so perfect, man, because Marc Gasol, he played crazy tonight.
Obviously, Kawhi Leonard, he's going to be the best player. He's going to be the number one option on a team. But you mentioned he's not your traditional superstar where he's looking to be in the spotlight about everything. And Marc Gasol is a guy that I think can come in here. And obviously, Kyle Lowry, when he's healthy and playing like he did tonight, he can be a second option as well. But he's another option for Kawhi Leonard to defer to. You mentioned it. The Toronto Raptors were kind of neck and neck with Brooklyn the whole game, and then the stretch that Marc Gasol came in at the beginning of the fourth especially really just took the game over. He came out, he was hitting jump shots, his passing ability is absolutely ridiculous. He had 16 points and 6 rebounds in 22 minutes, 7-9 shooting. And he just got everyone energized because he started off with the bench unit, and we saw the likes of Patrick McCaw, OG, even Norm had some great shots, and a lot of that was due to Marc Gasol's just creating ability. And then when the starters started funneling in around Marc Gasol, honestly, it's some of the best basketball I've seen Toronto Raptors have played. When you put talent around Marc Gasol, he's whether it's lesser offensive gifted talent or our actual starting unit, he just elevates everyone, and it's super exciting to see.
This is what's really nice, and this is what'll be nice about the introduction of Jeremy Lin into the team, is because finally the bench unit just looked good out there.
Yeah.
Right? We didn't have any of the starters in. Maybe there was one. Danny Green was in, but we had that lineup with basically 0 point guards. Mm-hmm. Patrick McCaw was playing point guard, and then all guards. So Danny Green, Patrick McCaw, Norman Powell, and basically OG, who can handle the ball decently enough himself as well. And normally that's a really cringeworthy lineup because they're not able to spur on a lot of offense, right? They're not able to create very well. But now you put the playmaker, funny enough, is Marc Gasol in that situation, who's able to facilitate the ball really nicely and get guys like doing really nice cuts, like Patrick McCaw got a lot of open cuts that Marc Gasol found him. Norman Powell had a lot of really good playmaking when it was that lineup. So this is why I'm excited about the introduction of Jeremy Lin, because now if we want to shift Gasol up into the starting lineup, which you've already said, that's great. Like, this is amazing basketball, and he's in that starting lineup, and you bring Serge Ibaka back, at least we still have Jeremy Lin, the playmaker, and now we have just 2 powerful lineups, right? If they want to play that way. If they want to go 8-man, then that's good as well. But this is something else.
Oh, my, certainly. And obviously, Fred VanVleet's out with that thumb injury. He's out for the next 3 weeks, I believe, but it's coming at a good time because a lot of that time is eaten up by the All-Star break, which is, very fortunate for the Toronto Raptors. But you mentioned it. Having not anyone that's close to a point guard really on the bench tonight. OG, Norm, Patrick McCaw are all wing players, and Marc Gasol is obviously the center. It's fortunate we're getting these guys at this time. Lin obviously will come in later this week, but Marc Gasol is literally playing Patrick McCaw brought the ball up the floor, but Marc Gasol was running the offense. He was running the show out there.
Yeah, 100%.
So that was super awesome to see. But Patrick McCaw, we got to talk about this guy. We've been mentioning on the podcast how his defense has really impressed, his ability to fit in and pass the ball around the court, really just integrate himself into the offense has been great. But his inability to score was a bit worrisome for this team because obviously we need people that can get buckets off the bench. And tonight, 13 points from Patrick McCaw, and if he can come out here and be a legitimate threat to score the ball, he is going to be a very valuable piece coming off the bench.
Well, Ben, it was not just worrisome that he couldn't score. I was saying he was downright unplayable moving forward if he cannot figure out how to get the ball in the basket at least 3 times per night. Because anything less than 6 points per game, that's your sort of number. My cutoff is I'd like to see 10 points per game. But anything less than that, regardless of the defensive ability, is just a liability to have out there on the court. But this game here proves this is the potential that I knew McCaw to have, because a player that plays with so much intensity and passion, as long as they're semi-competent, their shots will come. Yep. Right? Because all you need him to do is be a spot down or a spot up shooter. And then now he's playing fantastic in this off-ball movement that allows him to get some open shots. This is a scary guy that moving forward that can make a real impact in the playoffs for sure.
Yeah, certainly. He's so athletic, and I don't think he's unplayable if he's he kind of reverts back to that.
If he's getting 0 points, he's unplayable in the playoffs. You can't put a guy
in the
out there who's not
playoffs.
gonna
In the
score.
playoffs, that's fair. You don't want any guys that are incapable of putting the ball in the bucket. But if he can get because he's such a good just defender, and he's like a jack of all trades, so to speak. He's the Andre Godell-esque player, and he's played under Iggy for the past few seasons, so maybe he gets a bit of it from there. But I'm really impressed with how he's played. And OG. This is, not a huge night from him, but this is probably the best game I've seen from him in a while.
Yeah, he was just playing confident there. I realized his shorts are actually really short. Like, compared to everybody else, they don't...
OG's shorts last season. Those were,
I don't know what they are, like volleyball shorts or something like that. I'm not really talking about his game. That really threw me off. I said, everybody else is good. I don't know. It was weird. Anyway, we're going long here. Let's swing into the segments.
Certainly. Tonight... the Kawhi you do him like that play of the day. There's about 80 different plays we could probably give it to tonight. If there's a game winner that happens from Kawhi, bank shot over Jared Allen, that's the one you got to give it to. But there's certainly a lot of Marc Gasol plays that could have gotten it as well.
Yeah, and the Marc Gasol plays were crazy. The hype three, the 2 grandfather hooks, just some incredible passing.
Yeah, and Kawhi's pass to Danny Green to tie the game up with like 20 seconds to go.
Well, just the clutchness of that shot in general and the confidence to take it. There's a lot of good takeaways here, so we won't dwell on it. But certainly a game winner by Kawhi Leonard himself. I said, don't give the ball to anybody else. Let this man do it, and he did it. Phenomenal. He's got to get the award tonight.
Certainly. But not all plays can be the Kawhi you do him like that play of the day, and some just make you say, oh, geez. And tonight, we barely talked about Serge Ibaka, but he had 18 and 12 on 9 to 13 shooting. Great game from Serge Ibaka, and at the beginning of the game, he had a kind of long mid-range jump shot, I believe it was, and it bounced off the front of the rim, it bounced off the back of the rim, went straight into the air. It looked a bit wild, and it finally went through. I don't know if you have one in mind, Riker, but that was certainly my OG's play of the game.
There was so many plays this game. We have Jared Allen had almost a wide-open dunk that Serge Ibaka tracked him down and got the block on one end. We have Kawhi Leonard went on the fast break, and reversely, Jared Allen almost had the chase down block, but he got blocked sort of, and then the ball shot up into the air, similar to what you were saying, and ended up finishing and one for Kawhi Leonard. And then finally, I don't know if you remember this point of the game, but yeah, you were studying a little bit as well. This was earlier on, but Pascal Siakam had a crazy quadruple between the leg succession dribble and then hard crossover. Missed a shot, but I thought I was watching Allen Iverson out there.
It's the Justin Bieber, the multiple between the legs. That old meme.
Exactly, yeah. All-Star Bieb.
Bugatti Biebs, and finally, the infamous, the one and only DeMarre Carroll Gold Star Award. And tonight, DeMarre Carroll didn't play on the Brooklyn Nets, but I can't think of anything to give it to. This game was
the defensive coordinator, Toronto Raptors defensive coordinator, because heat check, get those Brooklyn Nets. We didn't talk about the Brooklyn Nets once this game, but my God, they were good tonight. They hit all of their 3-point shots. They played well. They played really strongly. If the Raptors lost this, I wouldn't have been sad about it, because that was just a strongly opposed game by the Brooklyn Nets. So.
Yeah, they played out of their minds. Joe Harris, 7 threes. Alan Crabb, 6 threes. D'Angelo Russell, 28 points. They came out there and they wanted this win. And there wasn't much the Raptors could do. They didn't play awful defense. And the Nets were in their zone, which was very effective. But we just...
No, they hit a lot of 3-point shots. It wasn't bad defense at all. But if you got to give it to somebody, give it to the stop threes,
Yeah, certainly. It made for a very entertaining game. This whole next couple months, I'm super amped up for Raptors basketball. Riker, Gasol, Lin, we're getting everybody. Maybe even Morris, if that's possible.
Yeah, rumors are having it.
Yeah.
That it's in the works.
Certainly. So, anyways, we'll keep you posted for all the updating Raptors news. It seems like whenever we make a video, there's going to be some more info coming out. So stay tuned to the Raptors Digest. Subscribe. You're the best for making it this far. Check out the Twitter, the Instagram, all that cool stuff. The Raptors, big things happening.
Yep. Cheers.